I was about to delete that 1 minute 20 something video, but then I'm like, yeah, let me keep that for bloopers to an extent. Okay. Still got a lot to cover. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up creating a official Twitter for NJ to the City News too. We'll see. But yeah, you can definitely go onto the website NJ to the City News. That's me, created by Wix. Absolutely love it. Potentially gonna be more and more invested in it as time goes on. So we'll see how things go. So yeah, here it is to an extent. NJ to the City News topics. So I kind of already covered the texting while driving while in Florida. And the middle school and high school vape culture and sex culture with sexting and sex itself. I definitely just, I wouldn't say discovered it, but I definitely talked about that in another video. And I hope that once again everybody gets what they need out of those videos. God first over everything. And so on. So I guess a few other topics to get on would be stuff like church sex scandals. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you know who I am by now, you would know. Again, I have a pastor side to myself. I have a preachy side. I preach quite often. And, yeah, so I definitely have a pastor side, preachy side to me. One of the topics why everybody says, Nate, you're so inspirational, for that reason. I preach a lot, Interestingly enough, I don't really preach at any particular church like people have thought that I did and absolutely asked me before, like, you preach at a church, you do this, you do that. Obviously, I should, / could, / would, and eventually probably will. It just all depends on when, because I'm always looking for that calling to get more involved into certain aspects of our community. So yeah, we'll see. But with church sex scandals, ladies and gentlemen, forgive me, still sick. Still sick, that's why. I mean, I probably shouldn't be making the videos, but for the most part, I'm not coughing through most of them. That's why I'm still making the videos. But church sex scandals, ladies and gentlemen, it has to do with, continues the fact, man. I do too much research, ladies and gentlemen, too much research. And a part of that research, I can assure you continuously, is the fact being, I am absolutely disgusted and disturbed with all these sex scandals that I'm hearing about in churches and schools. I'm absolutely horrified. Those are two institutions that, once again, should be harboring children and families as, once again, home, family, legacy, morality, and such. What that continuously means, for example, it's like if you don't have a good home life, where do you run to? That's one of the top places that we're really getting at these days. Where do you run to? Sorry. Where do you run to? So yeah, forgive me. Where do you run to? And with that, I have to say, I can tell you, I believe that majority of the times you're running to the church. If not to the church, you're running to school. The most immediate place, depending on how you live, what you believe in, you're running to schools at times, for help, guidance, and wisdom. But the problem is, so many of our schools are too busy literally doing the same thing some of these churches are doing. They're not teaching you anything about God, anything about Jesus, anything about spirituality, morality, good character, and more. The churches, like the schools at times, are spending way too much time sexually abusing kids and absolutely just destroying families from the inside out. Which I don't get. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that is not new. This stuff is decades old, but the problem is, why in the last 5 years, and or just decade itself, but I'm going to say 2-3 years, are we continuously rocked with more and more stories about sex scandals, child abuse, and more in schools and churches. I think it's garbage. And the role with the sex scandals part with churches is the fact being, once again, it seems like our churches, because this is really one of my other topics right here, ties into the other topic where it says the church is turning into a pedophilia house versus its original intent of being the house of God for praise and worship, to help bring families together and help heal the community and be a staple of growth, of enrichment, development, and more within the community. Ladies and gentlemen, I have definitely even seen it on Twitter at times where I am literally defending the church, once again, for how you got so many churches, but yet, once again, why in God's name does poverty even still exist, you know? Why are people still homeless and so on and so on. Sometimes, for a lot of proportions, you can't blame the church, but it all depends on where the church it is, the pastors, the people that works there, and etc. But I can rest assure you that, at least the way I look at it, is that most definitely, yeah, you can't blame it all on the church. You can also blame it on the people who, like I said before, who just willingly choose to sleep on the streets or willingly choose to be homeless or whatever they choose. Because I've had plenty of conversations with people that have said homelessness in these days and ages, it very much is more of a choice than it ever has been. Definitely depending on what news source you get your news from. NJ2THECITYNEWS.com, by the way. Depending on what news source you get it from, whether it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, The Blaze, and more, I can definitely guarantee you, depending on what news source you get it from, you know, predominantly the far left is what they call it. The far left, what they call it. With the far left is what they call it. With CNN and MSNBC, supposedly you're going to get a bunch of, what they're talking about, how the economy's not booming, the economy only works for 1%, and then the far right, you're going to get, you know, that it's working for everybody, or they just the far left wants to be biased and double standard because they just don't like Trump. And I can tell you that for me, like I say, I mean, I'm a little bit of political, not fully, I halfway don't care at times. I can tell you definitely when it comes to the, you know, Russian type stuff about like, oh, they hacked this election, they hacked that. Why do we care if they even hacked our elections to begin with? I mean, even if, I'm not joking, even if they did hack our or they didn't, you know how many hackers we got literally right here in America? Plenty. So we don't, trust me, nobody needs a Russian hack anything. We got plenty of hackers right here that hack for a living, practically. And then number two, how can we be worried about, you know, Russians hacking anything when we got all these people who are homeless, who don't have food and more, broken houses, homes, and more? How can we be so worried about Russian interference in our elections when it's evident, or at least if you ask me, we have so many broader issues to focus on, so many, which is why I look forward to next year's election, because I'm telling you now, stop waiting for politicians to save you. Literally. Stop waiting for politicians to save you. They're not gonna save you. If anything, like I've been told before, their biggest concern is continuously just, you could say, staying in power so they can keep getting rich off your tax dollars. Other than that, they don't give a crap about, you know, truly helping these communities, at least for the most part. And just let you know, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm just saying the church is supposed to be that outlet for families to help heal. Come in and help heal. Which is why I'm a proud supporter and promoter of church counseling. But the problem is I've done many reviews where it's like these people, some of these people are, again, or a lot of them are no more fair and balanced than me or you. So, I mean, it depends on which church you go to, the people you trust to be fair and honest with you and more, because some people are going to be no more fair and balanced than me or you, so it all depends. But I believe in church counseling. I believe in the church. I believe in the further advancement of all people through the church. And I believe that we got to get the church back right. We got to get the church back right. If we can get the church back right, we're going to be able to, once again, understand where all these problems continuously have stemmed from. And we can help heal our communities from the inside out, and so on and so on. Church is supposed to be that staple in every community where people, once again, go to help them learn, build, grow, and heal in Christ's name. That's what the church is supposed to be. That safe haven, that safe harbor, not a place of abuse, neglect, heresy, and more. Schools are supposed to be, again, another home away from home. And that's the top thing that I really, 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 really wish that more schools would adopt. But the problem is, just like with some of the churches at times, you have biased, bigoted, two-faced, double-standard people over you for the reason why that's not going to happen. I can't control all the schools. I do not know what's happening in all the schools, but I read enough reviews to tell you a lot of the schools, like a lot of the churches, have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of cleanup to do. And the problem is, when are they going to start the work, start the cleanup? Because the problem is, they've been leading a lot of people astray for a long, long time. And a lot of kids have been robbed of a good middle school experience and high school experience because of their rigged, double-standard, biased schools they went to where some kids couldn't wait to graduate just so they would never have to go back to that school era again. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not what I stood for as a school student in East. That's not what I would ever stand for as an alumni either. Because I can tell you right now, that's not what I built. That's not what I like. That is absolutely garbage. I'm telling you, you're an alumni. You should feel welcome to come back to your school anytime you want for a sporting event, for to do volunteer work, see a teacher, an old teacher again, updates. You should feel free to do any of that, and that's what we need to do in order to help build these things constructively in Christ's name.